Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to another program on target. As we start this program, we never have a subject matter. We encourage you can present your own subject matter. You can pick up the telephone. You can call on any subject matter. We speak on all issues trending, whether it is international, regional, local, or if you introduce your own subject matter. We on Vibes, we on Noise FM, we Noise FM, 94.9, that is in Brooklyn. We are 91.5, and I think 91.9 is back. So the people from the northern part of the island and St. Andrews and a number of other areas, you could hear us on 91.9. We are 91.5, 91.9. We are on YouTube. We encourage you to share our program. And this morning, you could pick up the telephone, 442-0175, or you can make your posts on the social network, and we will read them out once we have the opportunity. I always remember the women were crying when Jesus was on the cross. The women were crying when Jesus was about to be crucified. And he said, "Women of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but for yourself and your children." Women are the ones in society that tend to display emotion more. They cry more. Some say they complain more. But they are the ones that tend to show more emotion. And they were crying out for Jesus Christ. And he said, "Women of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but for yourself and your children." This quotation in the Bible has played a very important part to me. And I tend to practicalize the Bible, the scripture. When I read something, I want to see how it relates today. And I believe today we should be saying, "Women of Grenada, weep for your children, particularly your boys." Women of Grenada, you're weeping for all sorts of unnecessary things. Definitely you're not weeping for Christ anymore. The churches more and more are empty. The secular world seems to be diluting Christianity. The top echelons of our society think morality is a joke. Women of Grenada, weep for your children. Weep particularly for your boys. The majority of people in prison who are incarcerated throughout the Caribbean are young males who did not have a good education. There is a direct relationship between the education, the quality of education you have, and whether you end up in prison. Look at the mental institute. Pay a visit to the mental institute. The amount of young boys, young males in the mental institute. Look at addiction in our own country. The amount of young males that are addicted with coke, marijuana, and alcohol. Addiction. Some of them consume all of them. Look on the block and see how much of our young people unemployed, particularly the males. Today in our society, more women are going and do security work. Young women with children, 1 child, 2 child. They gone and do security. Some of the children are left in conditions that you would prefer they was not left there. But the women have to go and do security. They're working in the night, they're working by shift, not only in the night. But a lot of times on weekends, on holidays, when the homes are more vulnerable, the woman is missing from the home. We have to be cognizant of the fact that 60% of our homes are led by single women. And more, we find women having to do security jobs. Why do I say security jobs? Normally they do 8 to 4 jobs. So they have more time in the house with their young daughters and their young sons. I always hear the elderly people say, after a disaster, boys turn man and girls turn woman. They say that with a sad heart. After Hurricane Janet, those elderly women say boys turn man and girls turn woman. The extended family were more pronounced. But today in our society, the extended family is practically non-existent. And young women with children is doing security work in the night. I don't know if they're easier to deal with, so the security people are targeting them. I don't know if they're more vulnerable. I don't know if they demand less. But it seems that the security service now prefer to have the women. So more and more, the women are the ones doing security, and the men on the block, unemployed, involved in gambling, lazing around, and consuming substance that seems to be attractive. That's why I believe Christ would have said, women of Grenada, weep for your children, particularly the boys. In the yesteryear, women used to say, a burn in my belly. They see trouble coming. We have to pay attention to these things. And our women need to pay attention. Even some of our women that consider themselves as part of the intelligentsia, their children are not doing well in school too. Some of them have 1 child, 2 children, 1.5, and they're still not doing well. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I have 2 questions to ask you. Few days ago, maybe a week and something now, when they had that meeting about 500 or whatever in someplace up St. Andrew's Way. And somebody asked the question, somebody from St. John asked the question, that they hearing about build back 500 houses for all district, and they were hearing about St. John's. The contractor said to the girl that I am sorry for St. John, because what happened, they went to check the land in Stony Gut, and 3 plots of the land had sold. After I heard the past minister from St. Maxi, the land is there, nobody sold the land. That's number 1. Friday gone to the point on GBN. Mr. Rolo call and make contribution. I think he played the clip with Miss Gloria, Thomas. And they bash Mr. Rolo so bad, it's not nice. In spite of what we have to learn to respect people's opinion and respect people. Mr. Rolo is not a child, not because he has a disability, he's not a child. You know, bash somebody like that, that is no respect at all, Mr. Pierre. Hence the reason why he's talking about the 150. And the person says that 150 was given to the elderly persons or poor and vulnerable because of election gimmicks. And I know that is not true. They said that the number 10 says that it was given through because of election gimmick, and I know it's not true. Mr. Pierre, I'm going to try to tell us the truth. Yeah, people don't believe in the truth, and this thing I am so painful and hurtful. When you hear any people speak, you think it's the gospel truth they're speaking. We have to start and have to respect our elders. We have to respect our... Mr. Rolo is not a child. Mr. Rolo is a big man. He's a citizen of Grenada, and he has the right to say anything he wants to say. You don't disrespect somebody like that. It's not a nice thing, Mr. Pierre. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, caller. Thank you. The removal of the 150 from the elderly people must be put in perspective. The Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon, and the NDC members are vultures. Look up the meaning of vulture. Gigi. They prey on the weak. It's a common character of the NDC. It is not the first time they go after the weak. In 1990, they claimed the economy was in trouble, so they fired the people on the estates. During that time, Lord Doll, Shotty, always call his name, was fired too. In 2008-2013, the NDC fired the elderly people on the seed program. And I always speak about the 5 women of Paraclete, because Paraclete was not considered so much as an area you would say low income. But these 5 women were fired, and they were in the bottom of the ladder. The NDC promised that they're going to raise it to $650. That is what they promised. Deacon lied. He deceived the elderly. He referenced the World Bank to assure them that he's going to raise it. And then he removes $150. Any attempt by NDC individuals to cover that, you just have to describe them as vultures. They prey on the elderly, the physically challenged. Even disadvantaged children were not spared. And several of them had to leave prematurely National College because their parents could not afford. That is the NDC. The NDC have always acted like a vulture where the elderly is concerned. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I would like to speak to you about Obligated. Would you give me a number, please? I will call you after.
You could call 410-1030.
414
410-1030.
20
10 410 3030. Sorry. 410-3030. Yeah.
303. Okay, thank you.
You see, there are certain things you have to face reality. If you don't face reality, it's going to happen again. I've asked the question, why the NDC is so hostile against the elderly? I believe the NDC policies have contributed to some of the elderly men that got beaten up in the land. They constantly attack the elderly. When you do that at the higher level, the people, the younger people, they take it it acts as a catalyst for them to show gross disrespect against the elderly. And the NDC, that is why we consider them as poor people terrorists. They always disadvantage the elderly. Every time they come in power, every time they come in power, I don't know what old people do NDC. Every time they come in power, they go after the elderly. You remember the gentleman from St. Patrick's? They use to advertise. They're going to give the elderly $400. They never give the elderly $400. The man had to hide from his veranda because NNP women provoking him. You get it? You get the money? You have to hide. He dead, he don't get money. Every time the NDC come, and the vulgarity in the party to use an elderly person, deceive them, and you refuse to give them. You forget the NDC and the Imanis? They tell them they love them. I have to get a tape maybe and play it on a Friday. They say they love them as how they love their own children. You know? And when they're done, they close down the program, change the name, and fire half of the Imani. Look at what they did to the Imani this time. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
How are you doing, my brother?
Great man, good man.
Okay. Mr. Pierre, according concerning Granville, after spending length of time, I know lots of us felt that way. I'm coming home. When we go to the capital, we expect to see something different in the town. That's how we're going to know what is accomplished over the years. But somehow we seem like we have some people in Grenada holding down the city and they don't know what investment is all about. Mr. Pierre, Grenville haven't got a building code. You have people in Grenville, they know the last time the pastor could have paint on the business. I'm talking about the infrastructure. Grenville look old. They got to do something much better, Mr. Pierre. And not only that, where they have the bus storm and all down there, they have to divert business down there. They got to do something much better in Grenville. Grenville is too much a big town for that. Grenville is a big place, but they have to put something in place to open up Grenville and get Grenville running, man. And we need nightlife. No, it's the wrong time. We're behind. We got to introduce some different things. We're behind. Well, anyway, my brother, hold it down. You're doing a good job.
Yes, my brother. I think one of the challenge we had in Grenville is migration. Grenville was once owned by Grenadians. And the children of the people who owned Grenville went away. So by the time the parents become incapacitated and they become old, the children left the country. There was no one to continue with the business. And as a result of that, the children is in New York, England, Frankfurt, and they just renting the building. Some of them don't even come here and see what the building is. They just rent the building. So there's a lot of building in Grenville that, as you say, could deal with a facelift, but the business person there wouldn't do the facelift. Because as soon as you do the facelift, those who own the business go want increase in rent. Now you have to understand, if you're renting a place in Grenada, in some parts of Grenada, and you paint up in front of the place, they want to raise the rent. So if you is a wise tenant, it is better to function with the business in the dilapidated state the building is. Do little patch up only for survival's sake. But try your best. You cannot invest much money in infrastructure. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Yeah, how are your weekend?
Great man, good man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, when we see and we hear what this government is doing to the poor people of the country, right? To the vendors, the market vendors, the fish vendors, the road workers, the agriculture workers, and even people that work in within the government ministry. Right? What the government is doing to them. I ask myself the question: how someone party, right, that they say that they love people and they want to see people in every sector of people life develop, and you know what the government is doing. They're not helping the poor people. Instead of helping, they're making their life more miserable. And if you say that you love people, right, you should make sure and to stand and to speak out about the evil that this government is doing to the poor people of Carrico and Peter Matic. Look at the situation with Carrico again, with the people with the housing. Look at it with people again in the housing that in Busheju and throughout the country, that the Chinese give a grant to the government to build these houses for the people that need it the most. The government come in and they ask them to take back the letters, when they get letters to get for the house. All that vanish away. And you know what's criticizing the party. When we promise you a gracious offer, you take a gracious offer and you are saying that you love people and care people and want to see the life of people develop. And for your selfish interest and selfish gain, you associate yourself with this group of vouchers. How could you do that? How could you support that when you say you love people? So that either you're speaking that you love people, but you really and truly are not people. If you love people and you care about people and want to see the people, the poor people, especially in Greater Caribbean and people that they develop, is to stand and stand with the poor people and make sure that the government do what is right. But to say that you love people and you get a gracious offer and associate yourself with the group of vouchers, that means you're not real. You're not real. If you're real, in the hard time and the good time, in the good and the bad time, when the people suffering under the hand of the administration, you will stand with the people. Right? Stand with them. You cannot speak about it at a certain time. And when from the time the NDC government came into office, the people are suffering. Some of the NMP supporters, they were speaking about it. But some of them get gracious offer and they turn it back.
You have to remember that, and I think that is a fundamental issue a lot of people are recognizing. The NDC never seek the interests of the ordinary man. I know of no programs that the NDC have targeting the lower income group.
Exactly.
So they have never seek their interests.
So you're speaking about the ill, right? You're speaking about that, which is right. You can speak about the ill that the wicked they do it. But now you might get a gracious offer.
They're just speaking about it. They don't mean to.
They don't mean it. Exactly.
They want to deceive the people because they know they must get these people vote to get in power.
To get in power, right? So what I'm saying is here, right? Look at the Imani. Look at the promise they made to Imani.
Well, the Imani and them have to have themselves educated. A lot of people have to understand that the NDC does not seek your interest.
They don't seek the interest, right? But when great leader, your people speak about it. You know what they do, right? But now you associate yourself with them because they might offer something, right? So now we speak instead of speaking language with poor people, we speak in the same language because you get a gracious offer.
Yeah.
It's a pay have a blessing.
Yeah, you see, man is basically weak, and man it could be corrupted, and this is why you have. In the democratic system, you have the check and balances. You have the opposition there to keep the government on their toes. You have different interest groups in the country, the trade union, the farmers association, the bar association. And people set high moral values. But because the secular world seems to be diluting Christianity, or they become more prominent, values is seriously dropping in the country. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, my brother.
You get the money already?
I didn't go in the bank to find out if the money come.
You wasn't informed about it?
Honestly, I didn't go in the bank. I didn't have time to go in the bank to find out.
Anyhow, I get my own.
You get yours? You get all?
Yes.
Well, that is good. Well, if you meet me first, you got to buy the drink.
No problem.
Right.
I am proud of that. Mr. Pierre, the last time you came past here before that I went past here. The Majong meeting, I get a cent. I said, thank God today I get a little.
Yes, well, the income support was an important thing.
Yes.
And I think people have to applaud the government for giving income support.
Yes. Mr. Pierre, I hear a guy talking about how NDC don't like people and this and that. Mr. Pierre, the past government, the NMP government, they said they need $500 million in the bank. Mr. Pierre, these people they refuse to pay the pension. They refuse to pay it. Because they don't pay it, they will lose the election before they pay the pension. You say like people, you have all this money that you find hard to pay $7 million. You say you leak $500 million. Mr. Pierre, these people are the most wicked set of people not. You can tell me all this money that you don't want to pay your people the money.
You see, but caller, if you understand how they argue, they say the people who have to get pension, if you take all this money and give them one time, they're going to just take it and put it in the bank. So
are they give them?
So, well, yes, that is what this government did. But the previous government said, no, we have to share this pie better. We have 10,000 toilets to provide for people. We want to keep the Imanis. We want to be able to do the bushing work. And if we take this 500 million and pay them one time, we have to stagger it over a period of time, maybe give them bonds.
When they don't pay it and they lose power.
And they lose power, but it's...
Okay. They refuse to pay the money. And because they don't pay the money now, they lose power and they're crying out about it. Every day, every other day, they're campaigning all over the place to get back power. After they had the money to pay...
Well, maybe they learn a lesson.
That's the most wicked thing I want to pay about myself.
Yeah.
And they talk about, they're talking about what? Corruption. Pierre,
you don't feel... Color.
The NNP government is the last person...
But NNP is not in power. NNP not on the microscope. You agree with me that the people punish NNP and they vote them out of power. So now you can say...
They corrupt. NNP is the most corrupt government who ever passed in Guyana. Look, my uncle have... Uncle, look, $5,000. The NNP government, they jail with the bug. And they check my uncle money. And they don't give
this money, you can't blame NNP for that money.
Well, it's
no, you can't do that. Remember... Yeah, you can. No, they didn't. No, at that time, you have to remember. At that time, the governments in the Caribbean come and put more power in the hands of the ECCB, and Debog challenged the ECCB in the High Court.
And he lose.
No, he didn't lose. 7 years the case didn't call. Dwight Venner hide the case. He didn't call.
Well, Mr. Pierre, the NNP ran to give him...
It's not the NNP. They didn't have to give... Caller, they don't have to give you power to start a SUSU. They didn't have to give you power to start a credit union. The same thing with a bank.
Danny Williams was the...
Danny Williams was the clearing house.
He used to check for the bug.
All right. Yes, he was the clearing house facility.
Corrupt government of passing this country.
All right.
$5,000.
You lose the 5,000?
Yes.
Was that hard?
Take it and they're looking back. I want the government to take the government to court for this money and then what they lose it. So you have a good day.
All right, okay. This $5,000 your uncle lose, they understand. It's hard. A lot of people didn't understand the situation with the bank and clearing house facility and what part the ECCB played. I thought the ECCB was just too conservative. And while Dwight Venner did a good job in the earlies, in the latter round, I did not agree with Dwight Venner. But all that is history. The NNP is in opposition. They're not under the microscope. Deacon Mitchell is under the microscope. And some of the actions we are seeing now from Deacon are blatant acts of corruption. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr.
Yes, my brother.
And how are you today?
Great, man, good man.
Hey, you know, you're a golden boy. You call me a man, you're a golden boy. Here, calling you senior. When I look at you, you're younger than 18.
You have to raise the voice a little. I didn't hear that last part.
I said I heard that calling you senior, but when I look at you, you give me something like 18.
Well, we are old people. I'm an old man. And right now they are attacking old people so much that I have to stay on the side of the elderly.
Yeah. All right then. Now I'll tell you something today. I picked up a report yesterday coming to last night, on the Guyana oil situation. And it is so complicated, problematic, and costly for the country that is drilling the oil. I am wondering, having mixed feeling now, I'm wondering if we have placed ourselves in a situation where we're going to lose more than we can. Because if Guyana has so much oil, it's a much larger country. And the loss I'm hearing there, the figures that I'm hearing in terms of loss of Guyana, and having to pay every single cost of the drillers, and not being in a position to having to pay, in terms of you have oil spills, whatever, they will have to pay, and the cost of those things. Without a small country and maybe much less oil than Guyana, I am wondering if we are shooting ourselves in the foot, if we are wasting money, and if we couldn't divert our attention in some other area, for instance, agriculture, tourism, and another part of the economy. I wonder if it's too late to ditch this effort. I'm becoming worried that we are not setting our priorities right, and we the citizens stand to lose greatly if these things don't go right. We very carefully before we enter into those things. Yes, we might want to rank among the large countries, but we does not have the capacity. Our economy cannot take any loss in the oil where we have to pay. I will ask you to pay some attention to this. I don't know if you could pull up.
Yes, I had some discussion with an individual earlier, and I told him I was never excited about oil in Grenada. Never excited, because I think sometimes these things come with blight.
Yeah.
And there are some individuals that worry that the oil in Guyana could be perhaps a bewitch for Guyana, because these countries have weak institutions, and the oil come with a flush of money and corruption galore.
Right.
Guyana, Venezuela have the greatest oil reserve in the world, and Venezuela poverty is because of bad management and oil.
Guyana is really in trouble already. They are struggling because they are renegotiating now, because things is going so badly that if they don't get a change in the position, all the oil is going to go without a cent, because that is what is happening right now. The oil is going and they're not seeing they're not seeing the money. Yeah. So are we going into these things blindly without really analyzing this thing properly before we make a start? And I would ask the government, advise the government to relook this thing, go deeper into this thing, because it's not about the politics. It's about us. The politicians come and they go. And when they come and they make a mistake, they leave very happy and we are in trouble. I will ask you to pay some attention, and if you could...
Yes, it's from time to time we need to talk about that. I have often chastised our intellectuals and the University of the West Indies on oil in the Caribbean. We seem excited to believe if we get oil, then it is a magic wand to solve our economic problem. It didn't solve Venezuela problem. Nigeria is not expected to solve Guyana problem. Guyana, there are some authorities that beg in Guyana not to abandon the other sectors of agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, education for oil. In Grenada here, a small country as ours, you see the polarization, the political polarization, because we smell oil. And the Prime Minister of Grenada doesn't help, because he seems to be preoccupied with secret deals. And that's the worst thing that could happen. The Prime Minister is an ignoramus in that area. He don't know. He's ignorant like any ordinary man in that area. And if he is going for secret deals, and we're hearing rumors of being blackmailed. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, my brother.
What's going on in Guyana is that they make a bad deal, so they must come back and hand them. You don't hear the Prime Minister say they have to pass, before they do anything, they have to pass this price sharing agreement to Parliament. So all like what say, the opposition go say, if the deal bad, it's bad for everybody. Then just go and give people things. So, Mr. Pierre.
Who's saying that? Who say that here?
The Prime Minister make it clear that...
Who's the Prime Minister? Grenada Prime Minister? Yeah. After the Prime Minister go and sign deal behind cabinet back?
That's right, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, they are lying. Don't tell me that. This kind of stupidity I listen to and believe the Prime Minister saying they are lying. Prime Minister make it clear. He don't say no deal for nobody. The idea thing with them global petroleum war, that's something will happen long before the Prime Minister come in office.
So what do you agree on in Nigeria?
You don't agree on no deal, ideal?
But caller, if the Prime Minister don't give us information, speculation and rumor are going to run wild.
Mr. Pierre.
Caller, you know if the Prime Minister reluctant to give us information, we go take what the Nigerians saying.
But take what he's saying.
Yes, we're doing that because he hiding, he don't giving information. And if he not giving information and they order him to go to Nigeria, what he go in Nigeria and do?
If you come and say,
we don't have.
That is nonsense.
What he go in Nigeria and do? What the Prime Minister go in Nigeria and do, Color? Ask yourself that.
That is fake.
Huh?
Fake news about
well, I tell you, Dickens are fake. You agree with me?
And are you believing fake news?
Well, Dickens are fake.
What the woman write there on the paper? That is fake news, and I'll take it. I don't suppose are you then the right thing?
Okay. Yeah, you see, if the Prime Minister of Grenada do not provide information, then rumors going to run wild. I don't know why those are wrong. The Prime Minister don't tell him that. If we pick up from Nigeria, that deal is signed, and when you come in Grenada, the Prime Minister fumbling even for innocent. If two journalists hold the Prime Minister, he cried in tears. You know? Yes, caller, welcome. Caller. So the Prime Minister to come and give us information. The Prime Minister went without the Foreign Minister. You know? The Prime Minister did not go with the person in the ministry that's responsible for oil. You know? The Prime Minister did not go with the man in the ministry that's responsible for that department. You know? He go with the children and he go with the chief of staff. They order the Prime Minister to come to Nigeria. I firmly believe the Prime Minister of Grenada is being blackmailed. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, me again.
Yes, caller.
Yesterday, Prime Minister was on Kellen Bob's show yesterday. Mr. Pierre, I never see a perfect person in this whole wide world. But the Prime Minister is the perfect person. Every question was asked.
They must give him the question beforehand. You don't remember they was asking the question beforehand? I don't think Carly Shaw agreed with it. I don't know if Kel and Bob agree with it. These journalists are the ones the Prime Minister favor.
They're crazy, Mr. Pierre. They are very, very crazy. So sad for us here. Very, very crazy.
Let the Prime Minister come in front of some other journalists in Grenada. When the Prime Minister go up there, he crying tears. You don't see how the Prime Minister behave.
Nobody can convince the Prime Minister in things that is saying what is wrong. Everybody what interviews the Prime Minister, they're welcoming the Prime Minister. Everything what he says, Mr. Pierre.
Well, you see, he go into special team. Look at how he tremble in front Innocent. In front Innocent, he get agitated, he get tremble. The Prime Minister going where he knows perhaps the question beforehand and he prepare it and he could ask. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
This guy who called in there, where you living anywhere around Moya?
No, it doesn't matter. I tell you, messengers. Listen
okay,
to
what
the
I want
message.
to say is that we had a Prime Minister he was some hermitage. At least, Mr. Pierre, he could have given us more Paradise Bridge. At least he could have given us that, man. What's going on with Paradise Bridge? So long, man, in that condition.
Yeah, I think they should fix Paradise Bridge. Even the wall and repaint it and clean it, they could have done that.
They got to do something with Paradise Bridge.
When the bridge was 200 years old, they had a group that highlighted it. But governments could do some work on Paradise Bridge.
Mr. Pierre, I've been following up politics for a while on, and we always have a government and the opposition. But over the years, one thing I could say, and always say, anytime you have a government and they make the infrastructure of the country, the main priority, you have a good government.
Yeah.
But I never know the NDC doing nothing where infrastructure is concerned, you know.
NDC never really do nothing, you know. NDC cut down Belvedere, Nutmeg, but to be very frank with you, I don't know nothing serious they do. Except cutting down Belvedere.
This is no joke. This is no joke. It's not a government who are benefiting the people, man. I never know they do anything where infrastructure is concerned.
No, and NDC say concrete, too much concrete.
Mr. Pierre, when they come in America and they go to Canada and they go to England, it's concrete they're looking at, you know.
Yeah, when they come down here, they don't concrete.
And everything is, but when, I know what's wrong with these people. Anyway, I love you, man. Peace, one love.
Yes, scholar. This government, in all honesty, NDC are not big thinkers. And when they get pressure, there's panic. And when they panic, there's dotish thing. Like when they cut down Belvedere, nothing. And they dig up around the lake. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, welcome, brother.
Yes. I looked at the Bob report yesterday, and I think you should take a look. Because as far as I'm seeing, the Prime Minister's eyes seems to be focused on some screen. Like he was reading, right? And he reminds me of Kamala Harris. Because when I look at the both of them intellectual ability and the common sense, I could see similarity. Because imagine a Prime Minister of Grenada want to build a highway from Tong to Sotez, taking into consideration the topography of Grenada. That Prime Minister also want to use Grand Lake chalk to
pick mangoes
and things like that. Mr. Pierre, what is education? Can you please explain to me? I'm puzzled.
We're mixing up education and certification. Education is basically to improve your life, but certification is university. You go to a university and you get certification of attendance. Deacons certificated in law, but deacons are ignoramus in agriculture. You don't have 1 cent in agriculture.
Mr. Pierre, I know people in this country, they can't read, they can't write, but you can't fool them, you know. And the level of intelligence, you're not knowing that they can't read or write, except you ask them to read or write something. Mr. Pierre, have a good day, sir.
Yes, you see, sometimes we have believed that because these individuals is a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, they have general sense. No. They might have sense, they've been trained in that particular area. We don't see a mason. A mason don't have to be a good farmer. Yes, he might tell you he's jack of all trade, master of none. But a lot of masons can do carpentry work. There are a lot of plumbers that can do electrical work. Now you have electricians that don't know about refrigeration. So because the Prime Minister is a lawyer, we believe he has sense. Some of them lawyers losing the majority of the case. They can't win case. Some of the lawyers hardly could win a case. A lot of them would prefer to make up documents and papers and etc. for you. But they wouldn't go in court to argue a case. It's a different breed of lawyers. They call them defense attorney that go in court to argue cases. And those defense attorney may not make as much money as those who making documents. So deacon come on the scene, and deacons are fake. He deceived the people, he lied for them. He wanted to plagiarize on Maurice Bishop's popularity. So that's why he dabbled in their cult. He say evoking Bishop. And deacon is hostile towards people in the lower income group. Look at how he removed $150 from the elderly after he promised them $650. And he's vulgar. Look at the manner in which he quoted the World Bank. He didn't hesitate to reference the World Bank. Make people put the pot on the fire. They'll get $650 and he removed money from them. Deacon lied to the teachers. He deceived and lied to the nurses. He tried to bamboozle them by giving them a $500 one hour. They can go in the United Nations and deceive the children of Christoph. And I believe, honestly, that there is a third party. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller.
The king never promised nobody $600. Mr. Pierre, tell you that. The man never promised nobody that.
What he said, caller?
The Prime Minister said they're going to want to see. The World Bank say it should be $600. That's what the man said.
And what he said, why did he say that?
Why he said that?
Yeah.
Well, they say...
Not Kita talking about Deacon. Why Deacon say that?
Because say that he can go to 150 because there was an election from.
You didn't get caller. Deacon spoke about the World Bank.
Yes.
Why did he say that?
Because that's what the World Bank said.
So you don't think he used the reference to convince people that they should get that?
He used the reference to just say what the World Bank said.
Not to convince people that they should get that?
Why keep trying to give them...
Caller, not Kita talking about Deacon. Kit is the best political leader in Guyana and the Commonwealth. I talk about Deacon. Deacon that under the microscope. Not Kit. Kit might relaxing with the foot on under the... Not Kit. Kit not under the microscope. Deacon that day. Caller, you don't believe Deacon is being blackmailed?
Blackmailed by who?
Why? The third party. The same Caller. The same
Look with the bill they're going to pass in the house there.
Caller talking about Deacon and blackmail. You trying to hide? Don't hide on me.
Who could blackmail him?
Who could blackmail the kid? Why you have to take out the children in school to go in Nigeria?
The man take the children going.
Why, Caller?
He go where he wanted the children.
Why you didn't go with the foreign minister, Caller?
Well, he go with the chief of staff.
Ask this question. Where we get this chief of staff in Guyana? The guy get chief of staff while in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria might call him Chief Umububu and Ugugu. So they give him a chief of staff. You see, Deacon kind of...
Reasonable, Mr. Pierre. The national government money are paid by the children.
Whose money?
Who money? The man what they invite them to come.
So they bribing the Prime Minister then? A Prime Minister in the country? They bribe him?
All them children they go down there.
They bribe him then? So that's right then.
The what?
What about the gift he got from Rivera? You don't know about this one, Caller?
What gift?
You don't know he get a gift in Rivera?
What? Where's the gift?
Well, I ask him. You didn't hear begging him to retire to the Integrity Commission? Don't keep it.
You said he get a gift. Tell us why it's a gift.
Because it's going to be bribery.
Tell us why it's a gift.
And now, who paid for the trip in Nigeria? You said not the government.
Tell us why it's a gift.
Who paid for the trip in Nigeria?
The government, the African Association Company.
The African Association Company?
Yes.
So they just, so what are they like Deacon? What they give him all this money for? What they getting for that?
They give him a chip to come and attend the Congress.
For what, Caller? You think man does, if he's a woman, we know for what. But he's a man.
So
you are Nash to take all this money.
Mr. Pierre, the African National...
The size of Nash, he can't handle all this money. He had to be something more.
They invite him as a speaker in the party.
And he spoke?
He spoke.
He didn't speak?
He changed his mind.
And he still get money? You don't find that suspicious?
What money he get?
You don't, they pay ticket, they pay children ticket, they pay the chief of staff ticket, they pay cameraman ticket.
Well, yeah, they prepare coming up.
And you don't give the speech?
So when they're going, anybody comes inside it. They have to provide this thing for them, hotel or company.
You know, but he's not a government call, he's a private man.
It's United African Company.
It's the private people that do that. You're not suspicious.
You're not worried.
You're worried. Huh?
Mr. Pierre,
Yeah, brother. Thank you. You see, we have to be suspicious. If somebody paying the Prime Minister ticket, the Chief of Staff, it's not a government-to-government business. A private man. Why? What Deacon had to give up? Why? Grenadians must be suspicious. What he give up? And then you take the man poor children and order them to come across. Is it to strike fear in his heart that he must do what you want him to do? Deacon have to give us information, you know. Deacon, if you don't giving us information, rumors and speculation go run wild. We're reading the Nigerian news, you know. Any piece of news that come from Nigeria, everybody looking for the contacts in Nigeria now. We want to know who blackmailing Deacon. At what cost? It is in our interest to know if the Prime Minister of Grenada is being blackmailed. We are suspicious that there is a third person dictating our foreign policy. That suspicion was strengthened and reinforced after the Somora Agreement. We don't know. The fact that the Prime Minister seems to sideline the Foreign Minister now, and he picked up a Chief of Staff, and he went and discussed oil without the individual in the ministry that's responsible for that department. You don't find something fishy? I find it fishy, you know. You look at trouble. And we have to be concerned because in a small country like Grenada, a reckless Prime Minister like what we have could sign our children's future away. So we ought to be concerned. And once again, we want to thank the people from We Noise FM 94.9 in Brooklyn that carry our program. And it seems that 91.9 is back. And all those who participated in the activity in Paraclete yesterday, that is the St. Michael Harvest. They want to send out a big thank you to you and inform you that they highly appreciate your presence, your participation, and your prayers. Women of Grenada, remember, you have to be more concerned about your children and the boys, the young males. Too much of our young males are going to prison. Too much of our young males are in a mental institute. Too much of our young males are unemployed and are involved in antisocial behavior. Too much of our young males are being charged for being disrespectful to the law. You have to be concerned. And 60% of the household in Grenada are led by women. So women of Grenada, you have to take some interest in your boys in school. Your young males in school are not doing well. 70% of them exiting school without the minimum requirement. Find out what subject they are doing in school. Our males not doing well at all. More and more of them you see walking with some slippers, the pants down, the foot open wide. They have a hand to hold up the waist by the skirt. And they're not doing well in school. They are disrespectful. They're getting entangled with the law at a very young age. We must not ignore the writing on the wall. When we see these things, we're supposed to be concerned. Some of our daughters too are not doing well. They're very liberal. They're not going to church. They abandon morality. Deacon said morality is a private thing. And the Attorney General jumping up and shooting imaginary gun in the air. She's shooting Babylon. And some of our young people are following this behavior. You have to be concerned. You can't say the lie on your son. When you hear the message, sometimes ignore the messenger and look at the message. If you hear somebody say, she's son going to school with knife, and when you turn back, is you alone that have a son going to school? It may well be your son you're talking about. Such a bag. When your boy is ready to leave this school, leave home, look at how they dress. Sometimes you have to search them to see they have knives. Look at the bags. Don't ignore the writing on the wall. Too much of our children is not doing well. Find out what subjects they're doing in school. Sometimes they are not doing the subjects that could make them more competitive on the job market. They're not involved in sports. Big, strong young men. Some of them not involved in sports. Some of them are already consuming substances that could get them in the madhouse and the prison. Women of Grenada, remember what Christ told the women of Jerusalem. Weep not for me, but weep for yourself and your children. So I'm making a special appeal to women of Grenada. Your children in trouble. If 70% of the children that exit school cannot meet the minimum requirement, then you have to look at yourself. Are you in this 70%? Is my son doing well in school? Is he disrespectful? Do your child in school already have encounter with the law? Are they disrespectful to the elderlies in the village? The elderly? Are they helping you home? If your children are not walking home, you might safely say they're not walking in the school too. If they're disrespectful to the neighbors, that is a warning sign. They may be disrespectful to the teachers in the school. Too much of our boys are ending up in trouble. And they're doing soft subjects in school. Soft subjects. So parents have to take interest in their boys and girls. The girls too. Some of the girls too hot. They're hot. They're to school already, but they're hot. And the boys involved in drugs. And they're unhelpful. And they're disrespectful. Don't close your eyes. Don't ignore the message because you may not like the messenger. If the message comes from your neighbor, take it for what it is worth. See if there is any truth in it, if you are concerned. We're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1, and we have another opportunity to punch. And we continue. Women of Grenada, the time has come for you to weep for your children, particularly your boys. Thank you very much.